What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mobile video. So we finally got the update for Season 3, and lo and behold, nothing's really changed. There's no actual difference. We pretty much waited an entire week for legit no reason, so that was pretty cool. But here we are with the M4 buff. So this is the first video I wanted to make as soon as the update dropped, because I feel like the M4 was the one I was the most curious with. Because, I mean, it's been neglected for a long time, and it finally got a decent buff to the point where it's at least somewhat viable now. Of course, there are some complaints I do have with this buff. I will get to that a little bit later, but before we actually do get into this, I just want to let you guys know that we're about 100 subscribers away from reaching 6,000. So yeah, we're pretty close to that. So I want to thank you guys so much for the support and everything. So anyways, moving on to the actual buff. So like I said, the M4 was one of the most neglected guns in this game's history. And for really no reason. I mean, they could have made so many buffs back in the day, but they just never went ahead and did it. I mean, yeah, there was a slight buff to the damage and to the headshots, but it wasn't really something that would make the gun very viable, especially in these times where the M13 is the most dominant. And look, I could understand as to why they did not update this weapon sooner, because obviously it's a starter gun. The moment you start up this game for the first time ever, this is the very first gun that you receive. So if they were to make it extremely powerful, then anyone that's fresh in this game is just going to stick to this non-stop. I mean, there has been a few mistakes like that before in the past. I mean, you would earn the M16 immediately in Modern Warfare Remastered, and people would just stick to that immediately. Or even in Infinite Warfare, where your first assault rifle was the NV4, and yeah, that was pretty much the meta for the entirety of the life cycle. So there really is always a fine line when it comes to changing any weapon stats, because you don't want it to be too overpowered, especially at the very start of the game where no one's going to want to use anything else because the M4 would be the most superior thing in the game. So what is it that the balancing team did to actually make this weapon a little bit more viable? So first off, let's talk about the headshot damage. So the headshot damage originally was at 31 before we got this game updated. Now it's at 33.4 according to stats on duty. And you know, if it's 33.4 times 3, that should be over 100, right? So I did test this out in the shooting range, and yeah, if you do land all 3 shots to the head, you're going to be able to score a 3-shot kill. So for those of you who see that it is 33 damage, keep in mind there is a decimal at the end of that 33. So 33.4 times 3 would be 100 point, I believe, 2. So yeah, it's gonna be 100 damage. Although they did change some adjustments to the arm multiplier. I don't think the arm multiplier had any sort of change before, because it was always at 24. And keep in mind, the 4-shot kill area for the M4 previously was extremely strict. It was almost XPR stopping power levels of strict, where you had to be really accurate in order to secure a 4-shot kill. But of course, they did expand the 4-shot area by, you know, increasing the multipliers for the arms. So now you do get 26 damage if you hit the arms and the chest. So while it's a little bit easier to score a 4-shot kill, I will say it's a little harder if you do shoot someone like dead center, because, you know, sometimes you're going to land a bullet on the stomach and it won't actually count the 26 damage unless you hit it like in the chest or up, which is kind of unfortunate, because, you know, sometimes you're going to get into gunfights like that and you could actually end up getting into like a 5-shot situation, and it kind of sucks, to be honest. I kind of wish that they increased the multiplier for at least the stomach as well. So that's one of the complaints that I have with this buff. So yeah, like if you're seeing someone move like sideways, or, you know, you have them on the sides, you could actually score 4-shot better than you would in the stomach because of the arm multiplier. So while these changes are pretty cool at that, they also did increase the ADS time, but it's not really that noticeable. And keep in mind, you're going to have to use a lot of range extending stuff, because that's another complaint that I have, is the fact that the damage drop off is extremely quick, in especially a very short range. And that's kind of sucky, because, you know, the M4 is supposed to have like, you know, medium to long range capabilities, but it doesn't really seem to have that. It only has like the range of an SMG. If you were to compare the ICR and the M4 as of right now, the ICR is far more superior, because it technically somewhat has infinite damage range, at least when it comes to multiplayer. I should probably be a little bit more specific. I mean, it has infinite damage range for 4-shot killing. I would say the Bison probably still has a better 4-shot potential than the M4. Even if you stack it with Marksman and Monolithic Suppressor, it's still not enough. You could even put a Light Suppressor on the ICR as it is right now, and it'll still beat the M4. And keep in mind, in close range, long range, medium range, it has like over 30 damage. The M4 only has 26, so like the moment you reach the second range, it's gonna go down to 22. So you're back at that 5-shot capability, which sucks. And look, I can understand why it might have a little bit less damage because it does have a slightly higher fire rate, but still, it shouldn't drop off that quickly. Look, I don't know. I'm hoping that maybe they could like buff it a little bit more the next time, because from what I heard, I think there's gonna be like another legendary later on down the line. So yeah, hopefully this thing gets like a mythic too. They could probably buff it a little bit further, but yeah, as it is right now, it is a significant change. I mean, yeah, I'm grateful for it, but it's still not enough. I mean, if you think about it, the ICR, according to one of the blog posts for the devs, they did mention that, you know, the ICR is also technically a beginner gun as well, but that one's way stronger than this one. So it's kind of like they gave this one a big old fuck you and just decided to just give it such a small little increase of damage, and that's it. There's nothing else that this weapon can provide. And keep in mind, like I said, the range drop off is extremely fast. But anyways, here's the class setup that I used for the M4. I do have monolithic suppressor, even though I said like it doesn't really make much of a difference. MIP light barrel short, OW laser tactical, 50 round extended mag, as well as rubberized grip tape. So if you do plan to use this for ranked or anything like that, just use it at your own peril. Be careful with it. It's still not as great as it should be. But yeah, anyways, hope you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD mobile content. I'll see you guys next time.